In Dunedin, the kids who grew up with the Enemy and the Clean have formed their own bands.
I remember about a month in late '82 at the Cook and on 3 weekends, and there was the Clean played the following weekend, the Chills played with the Stones the following weekend, the Lanes played with Blue Go Purple, and the following week, you know, 4 weeks in a row, and you turn up to the pub every weekend and see this and just be incredibly impressed by all of it, and it's all in this tiny little town at one time. You kind of think, man, there's something going on here.
Generally, it was a, dare I say, a caring, loving kind of community. People shared advice, music, equipment, and there was a real resistance against becoming mainstream and against this horrible spectre of middle-of-the-road music selling out.
A new song is a breakthrough single for the Chills and their record label, Flying Nun.
Pink Forest came along, and I guess we sort of knew we were underway. I remember my father standing proudly watching Karen Hay review it well on Radio with Pictures, and I think that was when he probably first realised there was actually something in this more than just a kind of kids, doing their thing on the weekend.
Over there, the road trees is merging in with the evening, and then blackness consumed.
With a top 20 single under their belts, the Chills set their sights beyond Dunedin.
Things just kept growing. Every tour we did, there were bigger crowds. We were very quickly breaking attendance records at some of these key venues like the Gladstone in Christchurch, the Glue Pot in Auckland. The fact that it was still not accepted by the mainstream made it more attractive to the student audience and the alternative market. So we were kind of still in there. We were still cool.
Flying Nun is also spreading its wings, and the label's success rubs the mainstream industry up the wrong way.
I think there was sort of a bit of a them and us kind of attitude, but, it didn't worry us. Might have worried them a bit more, because we were doing well with, sales were good. We were charting records and bands were starting to tour and get good crowds. And that whole thing grew all the way through the 80s, and to the point where the bands that we were recording and releasing and working with were kind of became the mainstream. And the mainstream kind of, bar a few exceptions, kind of disappeared, which I think was a jolly good, jolly fine achievement, really.
We needed a support band for the Whiz Kids one Saturday night at the Hillsborough, and my graphic designer was John Halverson, and I asked him to form a band, and he formed the Gordons. That first night is just truly inspiring. I mean, I think they had a ripple effect, and that's the way it worked. A lot of really good Auckland bands coming down here, and then the Flying Nun thing was growing, and to a certain extent there was a bit of competition between Auckland and Christchurch, and some people felt that Flying Nun was taking the moral temperature of the country and sort of saying this is what you should do if you're in a band, and whether that's true or not, I mean, I really know. But I know that people in cover bands probably felt quite uncomfortable. And in fact, some of those cover bands started to write their own songs. I mean, they just had to.